Okay, so I'm really out of the habit of this. Uh, Also, I have a distracting lap cat who has decided I'm on the couch for her benefit. Um, Please don't hit the table. Yeah, so obviously it's been a really long time since I made a video. I did do a quick update with the foster kitten that we had for a while there. And I believe on that video I said that I would get back into videos that weekend. Um, that weekend we ended up going out of state for a memorial service because one of my wife's aunts died. Um, that was interesting. Uh, we got married last May, so it hasn't been quite a year yet. And remarkably, all of my family turned out to be very supportive. But two different sets of her aunts and uncles declined to come due to objections on moral grounds. Still not 100% sure what that means. We had seen them briefly around Thanksgiving, I think. And it was a little awkward. The one aunt and uncle said of hers that I had always gotten along very well with. That particular uncle didn't really speak to me at that time, which was weird. So I wasn't sure if that was something to do with the wedding. Somebody told me he wasn't feeling well. I was like, okay, that could be the case, or is that just something people are saying to try and cover up for it? So, didn't really know. So this was the first time that we were being around them again since then. Really only the second time we'd seen them since before the wedding. And come to find out, we were riding up to the memorial service with one of her aunt and uncle sets that didn't come to the wedding on moral objections, and staying at the cabin with the other set that objected to our wedding. So, oh boy. We drove up to Pennsylvania where it was 9 degrees, possibly less than that. I think it dropped below that, and then with the wind chill factor was around negative 20 something. I'm from Washington State originally. It gets coldish, but not that cold. So that was very likely the coldest conditions I've ever been in my life. Not awesome, but the aunt and uncle set, no mention was made of the wedding. Nobody said anything about, oh, how are things since the wedding? None of that. But apart from that, they acted perfectly normal around us, perfectly friendly. And then the other aunt and uncle set that I had gotten along well with in the past, that we shared the cabin with, got along fine with them. And then at one point, I didn't catch it, but my wife heard them talking in another room, and I guess it was the aunt saying something about, oh, and such the girls. And then I guess I should say Jennifer and Ray now. So there's an awareness. She was correcting herself there. It was not in our hearing. But that's an impressive progress, so I got hope for the future. You can never tell about people. You would think, especially in the current political climate, that you would have a good, easy gauge of people just based on political affiliations. But you would be wrong. People are people, and people are very good at holding a belief in contradictory ideas, doublethink from 1984, because we went up to where some of my wife's other family was. She's got another aunt and uncle couple that live up there, and Pennsylvania is, I guess, they were a red state in the election, is my understanding. I don't really remember, but I was told that. So they had come to the wedding, so I was fairly confident of their support. Pull up, and there's a Trump supporter sign on the front lawn. Nice big Make America Great Again. And we went in and saw them briefly, and then at dinner that evening at the restaurant, I was seated next to the uncle of that couple, and he used male pronouns for me. And that was not something I was expecting. So, I don't know. Yeah, that was a surprise. Not a bad surprise, but definitely a surprise. So, it was not the greatest trip. We went to bed in the cabins and woke up the next morning, and it was 48 degrees because the heat had broken. So that was not an awesome trip. Not to mention, of course, we were there for a memorial service. The funeral, I guess, was private, but we're ourselves both at an age where our aunts and uncles and parents are older. So there's probably going to be more of those in the future, and that's... Sorry, cat fight. That's sad, but that's also a fact of life and of aging. So, guys, could you not, while I'm making a video? Cats are delightful creatures. The foster kitten is off at her home. We got her to her home the day before that we left for the memorial service, so that was good. I wouldn't have been able to go otherwise. And I know my wife wanted me there, partly as a buffer with family. It's different when they're not your family. So if they say things that are a little objectionable, or if they're being family, for all the good and bad that is, it doesn't affect me the same way it does her, because they're not my relatives, even though I have married into that family. So on the other, you can't predict people front, my coworker Walter is somebody that I wasn't sure how he was going to take me being trans. And I never did get to sit down and have a conversation with him about it. But he picked up from my boss and other coworkers and everything. And I wasn't working a lot of shifts with him at the time when I came out publicly. So then by the time I did start working more shifts with him, he already knew what was going on without me ever having said anything, which I felt a little bit awkward and a little bit bad about. But I think he finds it a little weird, but he's really rolled with it. And I admire him, and I'm a little intimidated by him. He's got about a foot on me almost in height. Not a small guy, not a big bear guy, but he's got a build to match. Ex-military, deep voice, just big, tall, black guy, and just a lot of the classic qualities that are the epitome of masculinity. He encompasses those. So I think I'm a little intimidated by that, because it's like, oh, if I could be that. But he's been good. He's made comments here and there with like suggestions of, oh, you should do this, oh, you need to get on that. Like, he's being a male role model, which I did not expect. And we lost one of my employees, Mel, at work. She went back to school, so she couldn't make the schedule work. So she gave us a month's notice and everything, which was good. But we're looking to hire somebody else, and we had a woman apply, and I think she looked very fit, but she was kind of skinny. So there's something in my mouth. Is it cat hair? Who knows? So my boss and Walter were talking about her, and she was concerned about her being able to handle animals, because we do have to hold and sometimes restrain larger animals. And Walter says, well, she was looking for somebody, a little beefier like you and me. I kind of went, did you just call me beefy? Him, of all people. And he's standing there almost a foot taller than me saying this. And my sleeves were rolled up at the time, and my arm was on the counter, and he puts his forearm next to mine, and they were almost the same size. And he said, I've got a little more muscle definition than you do, but you're. So I was like, oh my gosh. It's been like 3 days. I'm still thrilled with that comment. I've really slacked off on working out over the holidays. It happens. My wife and I are both trying to really get back into it. Started it up again just in the past few weeks. So I'm optimistic. I'd be okay with being beefy. I could handle that. I'm never going to be a skinny guy. I'm never going to be skinny again, and I'm okay with that, but that's realistic, especially at my age. I'm almost 40. I think I'm doing pretty good overall health-wise for that, but so yeah, it's not showing up that well because the way the camera's angled. But I've been recently kind of looking back at some of my older videos, and I can really see the difference in my face. I remember I looked at some of my older videos, and I'm like, oh yeah, the facial hair is starting to, you can see this faint shadow on the camera. Obviously, I've got more than a faint shadow at this point. I'm up to having to shave the neck beard. I actually almost need to again. I'm having to shave that about every three or 4 days before it starts looking. There's a neck beard growing in. I can push it to a week if I feel like being lazy. In the profile, I've noticed my brow ridge is definitely stronger than it was. The shape of my face is changing. At first, I thought maybe that was just because of the way the facial hair is, that's creating an illusion. But no, my face is getting broader down here than it used to be. So there are definitely some changes. Obviously, that can't be bone, but it might be a little bit of fat, might be a little bit of cartilage. I'm really not sure, but my face has changed shape. Wait, you came up here. I thought you wanted to be in the video. And I'm like sitting in Cat Highway here. I've noticed, when I frown, there's a lot more going on here. When I do that, I don't remember having forehead lines like that before. So that's new. So there's, I don't know if that's a muscular change or a skin change or both. I know results vary greatly with testosterone, but for anybody out there who's watching this who's above the age of 30, in the 30 to 45 range, it does make a difference. I'm at about a year and a half. I started initially when I was writing down when I was getting my shots, I wrote which number shot it was. So, first, second, third, fourth. I think I just took the 55th or 56th just the past week. So, year and a half, less than 2 years. I know that there's probably more changes coming. Obviously, the facial hair still hasn't really filled in here yet. My voice is probably not quite settled yet. So there's more changes coming. And the fact that I've gotten this far is just astonishing to me. And the fact that I'm not done changing, that there's more changes still, happening, is amazing to me. I never would have thought that I could come this far. No regrets. None whatsoever. I have noticed the dysphoria around my chest is actually getting greater than it was. That's partly because bra shopping is really awkward at this point, for reasons I'm sure you can imagine. I get taken for sir 90% of the time. I get a lot of sir. I go into men's bathrooms now. I still have a fair amount of anxiety with that. I actually had a dream the other day about that going wrong. I have not encountered any problems. Nobody said boo to me. Of course, in the men's room, everybody's looking dead ahead. Nobody wants to look at anybody else. So why would anybody notice me? They're not going to look at me unless they're a creeper. And I've been in men's bathrooms with other men urinating. I haven't seen any dicks. If you're seeing each other's dicks, you're doing it wrong. So, yeah, really haven't encountered any problems, but yeah, the last time I had to buy a bra, I had it, and unfortunately the dressing rooms were monitored, so there were people there, how many items have you got? And it's like, oh gosh, I've got a bra, they're going to see I've got a bra, and then I'm going into the men's dressing room. Nobody said anything to me. I had a couple of bras, honestly, and then I grabbed a pair of pants to try and act as cover. But, yeah, that was awkward, and that will continue to be awkward and probably only get more awkward. So, we're trying to figure out how to make top surgery happen. Obviously, that's a large financial issue. We're not rich people, so that's the major problem there. So, wish me luck. Hopefully, within a year or less, we'll have gotten that figured out and done. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with my body. It's a work in progress, but I'm very happy with the direction it's going. My voice obviously has continued to keep dropping slowly. It's possible that I'll end up being a bass rather than a baritone, which is amazing, but surprising. I've been trying to sing along some when I hear what are clearly supposed to be the bass men in a group on a song, and I haven't encountered any notes that I couldn't hit. So I'm not sure. I need to find some way to really quantify what my vocal range is. I don't think it's 100% there. The bottom end, it's like the volume drops out. But I'm definitely not where I was vocally a year ago. So with that, I had to kind of scramble to come up with a song. I have a number of different songs that I've been meaning to sing that I kind of know, but I don't completely know, but I got to work on. This is another one from Fraggle Rock, because I adore Cantus the Minstrel, who was voiced by Jim Henson. And yeah, the Fraggle Rock songs are nice and meaningful and short. So yeah, here's the song, and I'm trying to get back into the habit of making videos. May not be weekly, may not be twice weekly, hopefully at least monthly at a minimum. And yeah, so here goes. I got the lyrics because I gotta cheat. When you long for the height of the mountains, when you long for the blue, leave your heart where it's deep and it's down again. Lose your heart till it's new. Seek your heart on the high blue skyway. Keep your heart and it's bound. Steep your heart in the deep of the earth again. Lose your heart and it's found. Once I thought I could fly like an eagle can. Once I thought I was brave. Now I wait till my heart starts to beat again, deep in the heart of the cave. Seek your heart on the high blue skyway. Keep your heart and it's bound. Steep your heart in the deep of the earth again. Lose your heart and it's found. 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 Straining a little bit even on the upper end of that, so I need to work on broadening my range, getting the high end as well as the low end. Till next time, wish everybody luck and success, and I don't know, trying to ignore the politics for now. There's only so much you can ignore that, but didn't feel like talking about that this time. So I hope everybody keeps well until the next time.